Ladies and gentlemen, today's shitty album review is for Rated R by Rihanna. It's been over a year since my first review of a Rihanna album, and since then, she released an album 2 months afterwards in November of last year. Disturbingly enough, she has yet another new album that is set to release in 3 days. I think I'm going to be sick. And for some reason, she decided to rip off the album cover for Rammstein's Mother. Back to the last album. While the first track in the album, Madhouse, isn't a natural song, the second song, Wait Your Turn, already proves to be worse than the last album with retardedly sung verses. Her tone makes her sound brain dead. I think I've heard other singers use this vocal style when singing recently. The crap from the radio, where I work, that is. Why is that appealing to listeners of mainstream pop music, I ask. I also wanted to mention, sooner rather than later, that, since my local library carries a copy of her CD, I had the opportunity to rent it, and that allotted me the opportunity to look at the CD booklet. Inside, there are images of her awful handwriting in which her G's look like Q's, and her W's look like N's. Not to mention, she does what every other female pop and R&B singer does these days, putting everything through auto-tune and having a studio of 200 musicians to write and produce her crappy music. And like all the other pop stars, she has her own slutty photo shoot to signify that she's a big girl now. And in case there's someone watching this who is wondering it, no, I've never touched one of those mighty kids meals from McDonald's. The third track has very little differences from track 2, and her voice is oiled up in auto-tune, once again. In the fourth track, Stupid Love, Rihanna proclaims that she's not stupid, but just dumb, which may be the most honest set of words from this singer. The real stupid people are the record executives who push her through to all facets of the public, and the low IQ fanbase who serve her income, and remain ignorant to real music and good singers. And aside from her whiny voice, it's just generic, over-processed R&B instrumentation. The fifth track from this album may just be the worst this album has to offer, and that is, Rockstar 101. You heard that right, Rockstar 101. What the fuck? First it was Lil Wayne, that talentless rapper with the grand mix of ugly face with ugly voice. Now here is little foot-faced Rihanna, bullshitting the world, boasting that she's rock. She's supposed to be a multi-million-dollar pop star, who performs 100K stage shows nightly, but now, she finds that she can be acknowledged as a rock star. So why have the 3 albums preceding this one all contain pop and R&B music? She says the only thing she's missing is a black guitar. In one of the verses. Oh really? Why wouldn't she just scrap her standard song arrangements, actually pick up an electric guitar and start writing songs that way instead of blowing a budget of $5-10 million to hire producers and just session musicians to record and write everything for her? Clearly, everything we see and hear from Rihanna's stupid little world is artificial, and every assertion out of her mouth is there to cast an illusion of a multi-dimensional, sentient life form, as if any singer from Los Angeles, California were that. Go ahead Rihanna, go sit with Tommy Iommi, Richie Blackmore, Jimmy Page, Alex Lifeson, and show them how you're the world's next big rock musician. There's a shitty guitar solo when that track ceases that is actually the beginning of the next song, Russian Roulette, because like I said before, Rihanna's a tough girl now. There's really nothing memorable about this song, even compared to the first 4 songs. I kind of felt like skipping it, as it was playing. There is a shitty fake guitar in the song Firebomb, which makes it sound like it's the background music for a made-for-a-Disney TV movie. Who, or what singer would agree to use a sound as fake as that? I'm very sure that R&B music from the 70s all had real instruments used to record the songs. About 95% of the instruments used here and in other songs are artificial. Take the drums for instance. The blandness of this song is actually depressing me to hear it. The 8th song, Rude Boy, is repetitive and derivative of the previous songs. However, this was actually one of the biggest singles from this album. It's interesting how not even the people in charge of the music have any decent taste. The guest verse in Photograph sounds out of place and is a pointless and lifeless addition to the song. It's repetitive, likewise. Gee, 4 is a minute insomnia clinic of a song, nothing special. TMO is as entertaining as waiting in a boutique or a department store, while your girlfriend is shopping for jackets. The Spanish elements are run-of-the-mill, stereotypical, and it feels like a China white gaze. Last song is a bland way to end her big girl album. It just goes to show how little of a compositionalist she is. In Rated R, her voice remains unexplorative and in the same register throughout the whole 50 minutes of playtime in this album. There is eclecticism, but due to the trendy pop song format she, as an artist, has assumed, any sort of eclecticism employed in a song is executed rigidly, and is dulled with copious production layers to try and distract people from the lack of fresh songwriting ideas. Overall, Rated R does not help to prove that Rihanna is important as a musician. Without her stage shows, big corporate recording contract, and her physique, she'd be nothing. But like I said in the previous review I did last year, her face is weird and Elmer Fudd looking, pretty much like albino game, that is, if she were living in the tribal parts of Africa. Or simply a Halle Berry wannabe. Rated R by Rihanna is definitely one of the worst albums of 2009. If you see it anywhere, press on it, like it's ET on the Atari 2600.